let's talk about 5 or 6 essential tools that you need for sewing your project. So the first item I'm going to cover is scissors. Now, I was fortunate enough to receive a nice pair of gingham scissors for my grandmother who was a sewist. But for you, I would say get the best pair or quality of scissors that you can afford on your budget. Have those for your fabric cutting, and then always have a separate pair of scissors for your cutting of paper, like when you're cutting out the pattern pieces or um, anything else that is not fabric. Sure, in your sewing practice, you can get various sizes of scissors, um, 5 inch, 7 inch, 9 inch, and up the quality of the scissor that you get again as you mature in your practice. Next item I'm going to recommend is a seam ripper. They are an essential tool in the sewist toolbox. Most machines, when you buy your store machine, will come probably with a small kit of materials or tools, and you may have a seam ripper, and they're usually really small. Um, but when you have the opportunity and the budget, then just get something with a bigger handle so that you'll have a little bit more leverage. Every sewist, new or experienced, uses a seam ripper, and it is definitely a must in your toolbox. Next item I would recommend that you have are pins. I'm sorry, pins. And pins come in varieties of shapes and sizes. Let me see if I can put this up here like this. So as you're looking at pins, they are pins that are very long and sharp. You have glass head pins. You will need pins for layering your fabrics together to keep them in place as you're sewing. I like the cute color glass ones. I have the ones that have this little button head and they're a little thinner. I even have these here too that are little hearts because they're cute. I will say when you are um, sewing and pinning to be careful not to sew over your pins, and when you're ironing, be careful not to iron over your pins. Now, some fabrics do not take to having being pinned, and you may have to use clips. So here I have a jar of clips here, and this allows you to clip your fabric together to hold it in place. So for like leather, suedes, polar fleece, things of that nature that are a little bit thicker, you can just use the pins on for those. Also recommend that you have chalk, some type of marking chalk. So when you're cutting out your pattern and you have to mark your circles, your dots, your notches, that you can use some type of chalk. Now chalk comes, you can get it where it's chalky. There are some that are more waxy. You have to be careful with that. And then there are the new friction pens. Let me see, here it is. And these allow you to make the marking and be able to, when you apply heat, when you iron, the marking does come off of that of your project. Always you want to test that in the samples before you actually do it on your garment. And one thing too that I remember my grandma used to use this, and they still use it, and it's still out there. And from time to time I pull it out as well. And that's this wax paper. And this is a paper. It comes in different colors, and you actually sandwich it between your pieces, and you use this tool. And here's the tracing paper. And you use this tool, and what happens is it will make that marking, say for example, a dart on your fabric piece, and that way you can see it very clearly, and you do it on the wrong side of the fabric. I find that's very helpful, particularly when I'm doing a dart and I want to make sure I get that dart in the right place, get that point correct, and get the width correct. These are a must-have as well in your sewing toolkit. So you can use a 12-inch ruler from the dollar store. This one I inherited from my grandma. So this is one of her rulers. You can get rulers that have mine's is in inches. And then on this one here, you can't see it, but it actually has lines in the 1/4 inch mark, 1/2 inch mark across the top. And actually these spaces on this ruler actually give you that 1 inch, 1/4 inch mark. So that's a really nice um, see-through ruler that I got from my grandmother. But there are lots of rulers out there. Start with the 12-inch ruler. You do have the various ones that you can get for doing hems. This one has a curve at the bottom and it's straight at the top to allow you to get that straight edge. It is inches on the front and centimeter or inches and centimeters on the front and back, so you have that option as well. And you will need a ruler to measure hems, to measure your grain line, make sure your grain line is parallel to your selvage line. So rulers are, I believe, are essential for your toolkit as well. My final item that I would recommend that everyone has, a beginner sewist has in their toolkit, is an iron. An iron is essential for pressing those seams, pressing them flat, pressing them open, and then pressing your garment at the end and giving it that nice, crisp, professional look. Having an iron and ironing your projects can be the difference between it looking homemade and custom made. Now, as far as recommending what iron to get or to purchase, I am not sponsored by anyone. My recommendation is to get the best iron that you can afford. Sometimes your budget may be for brand A, and when you have that coupon and the sale is going on, you can get that brand B. So get the best iron that you can afford. Always use a pressing cloth when you're pressing, but it will make a difference in your sewing practice. I hope this video helped you. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment if you would like to receive more content on additional tools that you can have in your toolkit. Thanks and have a great day and happy sewing.